you people back in the Shire. Turn your porch lights off because we're coming home with a trophy.
Hey there, welcome to SharkCast, a podcast dedicated to the greatest sporting club in the history of the world, the mighty Cronulla Sharks. The show is brought to you by Dyson Logistics, the Royal Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes at Cripps & Cripps Real Estate. My name is Sam Shinazzi, an OG from 2015, following the team for a lot longer and podcasting in our 10th season. It is my great honour to welcome onto the show a regular co-host. I call him a Sharks analyst because he spends all of his spare time just analysing the game even more than I do, and I do it for a professional living. He does it because it's what he gets off on. Josh Bolling, welcome, and thank you for having me in your house.
No, happy to have you here and happy to be back. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Where you been?
Just working, getting things done, playing OzTag Grand Final tonight. Looking forward to that and looking forward to a Sharks game this weekend. I missed it.
Yes, the week off has its pros and its cons. The cons is we miss it. Sitting in third place after the bye. We will talk about the team lineup and that kind of thing in this episode. There are some changes, as we know, some big changes. We do want to just let everyone know that if you haven't heard, we have hastily put together a watchalong event this Saturday for the Cowboys game. Now, it's hastily and late in the week and all that kind of stuff. But we are going to be at the Royal Yacht Club. They're going to put us in the Mariner Bar, which is at the back, and everyone is welcome to come. It's a free event. I'll be there. Gary Dover will be there. Hopefully some of our sponsors, and we're hoping more SharkCasters will be there. Josh, you're not locked in, but you're doing your best, which is awesome. So if you want to come along and watch the Sharks game with us, please feel free. Safe environment, welcoming. I think all ages are welcome. I'm going to confirm that, but I think it's all ages. Stick to our socials for more information to come, but that's what we're doing. I've announced it. It's going to happen. And there is a chance, Josh, as hard as this is to take, that we might lose. Now, I think we're going to win.
So do I.
But there's a 50-50 chance, unless it goes to a draw, they're going to win or lose. So if you are someone that really can't be in an environment where they lose and you start smashing TVs and that kind of stuff, you might want to go somewhere else. But if you're not that person, come along. I guess all I'm just saying is there's a little bit of an asterisk that you got to behave yourself when you're at this event, because it's going to be people of all ages, all demographics. Everyone is welcome. It's such a late invite, Josh. It could just be Gary Dover and myself.
I think I'm a 70-30. I'm pushing it to almost an 80-20.
It could be Gary Dover, myself, and Josh Bolling. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good time.
Party.
It's a good time. Anyone else is a bonus and very welcome. Check out our socials, but that's enough about that for now. Josh, we haven't spoken to you on air, I don't think, since the West Tigers game. I know you had a good night because I was with you and we had a lot of fun. What did you make of the game?
Like you said, really fun, very relaxed the whole time because it never felt like we got out of second gear and we're in control of that game. Positive to see us actually put a score on though. It's like, I know it's the Tigers and I know it's easy to beat them, even though we didn't earlier in the year. But not everyone could put 58 points on. So that was fun. I think we needed something like that as a club and as fans. We needed a bit of positivity and some fun back in the sport, remembering why we love this game and this club. And I think that game was exactly what we needed.
So in the history books, when we're looking back at this game, depending on what happens in the future, of course, but third highest margin, third highest win, I think fourth highest points scored in the game by Cronulla, with Dan Atkinson and Braden Trindle as your halves.
Yeah, and I think that is a confidence booster for those two as well, that we can put on points with these guys. And I don't think anyone doubted they could, because we've seen it already this year a few times. So these guys are good footballers and they can play. But I think maybe just something like that, just to, unblock the dam, just like getting some points out, everyone in a better mood and getting some players back. I know we lose Will, but we're getting Siffer back. Teague's now back after a couple of weeks of starting again. So there's some positive signs there for sure.
Now, the Will Kennedy thing was so innocent that we didn't notice it during the game.
No.
All we saw was a long break, and I think it fell down maybe at some point. But Will Kennedy's going to be out, and we'll talk about what's happening there soon. I mean, we saw Hamlin Uele make a really good return played some bigger minutes, got a try, was pretty dominant. Our forward pack owned theirs, which was important. I think we can do that again this week, which will be important coming off that game. There has been a week off, but they're training hard. They're looking good. Any other takeaways from that game from you? I know it's a couple of weeks old now.
I was just really impressed with the halves. Like you said, I thought it was really important that they stamped their authority on this team. And for Trindle as well, I thought he had one of his better games in first grade. A couple of try assists and a try. Kicked 9 out of 10, didn't he, I think, with the boot.
Was it 10 of 11?
Or something. It was ridiculous. It was really good. And he kicked them from everywhere. So I was positive that we got that duck off our back, of losing to the Tigers, and we bounced it back and then some with returning the favour. Yeah,
we did. It's important you mentioned the halves. I'm going to run an interview with Dan Atkinson that I did yesterday, I think in this episode. Also caught up with BRADEN HAMLIN UELE. Had a good chat with him. So look out for those interviews. I said to Dan Atkinson I couldn't split them, him and Trindle, because, Trindle had more flashy stats, but Atkinson was just involved with everything. And he's got that cool, calm way of carrying himself for a young fella, for an inexperienced fella. He matured that night for me. I know the Melbourne game was the big growth game, but I thought he almost backed it up in this game in different circumstances, because they could have won by 4-6 points. They absolutely went nuts.
Yeah. I think you make a good point on the maturity of Dan Atkinson. I see a lot, and I know it's easy to say, so I see a lot of similarities with him and Connor Tracy. But I see him as where I saw Connor was more of an outside backs cover and fullback, and Dan is much more of a controlled, composed, half controller of games. So I think he benefits the team now. He's a bit of an upgrade on Connor. Not say Connor's not a good player; he's doing great at the Dogs, but he just suits the team more, I think, and what we need. He's a little more selfless and hard work, man. He's worked so hard in defence.
Yeah, and speaking to him, and you'll hear it in the interview, he was very thankful that they had that experience to grow together in that game. We got the week off. I was down at the media day and caught the end of the training session. Nicho Hynes on crutches, off crutches, I believe, in the coming days. He was out there as an extra coach. He was very much in coaching mode. He was standing in positions and sitting in positions where he could see everything from behind. He'll be doing his rehab and his own kind of, training, but he's very much taking on a mentor role, not only for the halves, but I think for the team, was pretty cool to see.
Well, I think he wants to be a coach. He's mentioned that before when he retires. He wants to get into coaching and looking after players and guiding them. So I'm not surprised at all to hear that. And he's, clearly a very talented guy, and I think he's got so much to give. Whether he's on the football ground or not, he's got so much talent and knowledge of the game already for a pretty inexperienced guy still. So I'm glad to hear that.
And it gave me a little bit of hope that he might be back for the finals. I was a little bit, apprehensive to sort of go along with the Sharks' positive vibes of, he'll be back for the finals. But having seen him already on crutches after the operation and then off them, I'm told, in the coming days, that gives him some time now. There is 6-7 weeks away. So hopefully for his sake, for the team, that he can get back into the groove. But he is very much not on the PlayStation at home. He's out there not just cheering them on, but he's coaching the halves. Anything else, Josh, about the night, the game that you want to talk about?
I really needed a game like that where I didn't have to stress and we could just enjoy each other's company. We had a great time in the stands. So got to show Vic her first NRL game. That was really exciting. So just hope we can get that again this Saturday. It'd be lovely.
Now, I didn't want to bring up Vic because we haven't spoken, and I wasn't sure if I dropped her name too much in the podcast, but Vic's still on the scene?
She is, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, she is.
Okay. We can leave it at that. Josh is blushing, but we do have listeners that study every word that we say, which is awesome and incredible. And they're like, what's up with that? So we don't have to go there, Josh. That's good news. Vegas is on sale. Las Vegas is on sale for members and general public. I think it's the end of the week. So if you want to get over to Vegas, if you're able to get over there, I guess, more than want, you can get tickets from today if you're a member, and general public later in the week. You think it'll sell out, Josh?
I think with the extra games it will, especially with the English wave and with an actual game from them. I think they'll bring another 10, 15,000 people easily.
The English do travel, don't they?
And they're closer. It's easy for them. And the word is that a lot of English came over for the one this year. So,
all right. And you're planning on going over?
I will be going, yep.
That's exciting. So that's two of us. We've had a few people say no from the immediate cast crew. So much like this Saturday, it could be you and me, and Gary will be over there too. So this could be the Vegas crew.
Yeah.
We'll get you ready for Vegas this week. It's exciting. It's exciting. There's lots of positives about this trip. There's things that we're apprehensive about, particularly when it comes to the playing and recovery and that kind of stuff. But most of the teams will get over there in the next 5 years. Why not us? Let's have a bit of fun. And I know a lot of Sharks fans have already booked their tickets and their flights and accommodation and that kind of thing. So, yeah, if you're able to, because it's a massive financial ask for a lot of people. I guess not for every single person, but for a lot of people, it's a massive financial ask. Whether you're solo, whether you've got a family, it's a lot to ask. But I think that the experience will be worth it. Win, lose, or draw, obviously,
100%.
The experience will be worth it. So that's something to look forward to next year. I asked a few of the players yesterday about it, and they gave me a little smile saying, we can't wait. And to a man, they all said, but we're focused on the Cowboys. It was almost like that day they'd had their meetings, and they were like, if anyone asks you, this is what you're going to say. Because to a man, they all said it. They smiled, and they went, nah, it's all about Townsville this week, man. Which is good to hear, because, that's a long way away. Josh, West Tigers done and dusted, week off. Recent history, Josh, we've turned around our bad form after having a week off. The last sort of 5, 6, 7 games, the form's been good post week off. For a while, it was a nightmare, but now we've turned that around, most notably under Fitzgibbon's era. So there should be no dust when they run out this week. Let's talk a little bit about the news going around, and that is that we do have a debutant happening. Liam Ison, it's pronounced Ison. We got the official word. A few of us have been in between, like myself, but it's Ison, so we've got to remember that. He's locked in number 1. They didn't even sort of try and do any tricks, name him 22 or anything. It's all locked in. He's going to play, and it's very exciting. He's a really great young player. I think anyone who is expecting him to be man of the match would be looking a stretch too far. I'm not saying he can't. I wouldn't be shocked if he was, but to have that pressure, I don't think anyone should do it. He's just a really good fullback. He's quick as lightning. He's quite in the smaller mold of fullbacks rather than taller molds, but nothing that he can't get over. Like, he's obviously been picked. He's going to be an NRL player as of this week. It's exciting. Mainly played in the Penrith lower grades as far as rugby league, junior football, and raps about him on the field, off the field, carries himself well, quiet young man, and it's exciting. I mean, Fitzy doesn't mind throwing out a debut.
Well, is this our 4th debut this year?
I think it is.
Tukes was a Sharks debut. Billy Burns was a Sharks debut. There was someone else, I think. I can't remember. But, this is, I think, our first NRL debut. First game. So those are always a little exciting.
Absolutely.
When you have a young kid come through that everyone is really excited about and a lot of raps around, you can't help but, get the tingles about, what could this kid be?
He scored a hat-trick last week for the Jets.
Yeah. He scored like 9 tries in 10 games or something in New South Wales Cup. He's, 19?
He's 19. He's very young. Very young. He's going to be more of a, and you mentioned it off air, more of a Pappenhausen-style fullback than a overly creative one setting up other people. He definitely can do that, but his strength is his speed.
He's a runner.
He's a smaller guy, and he's fast as anything. I would suggest there's all these rumors that Ronaldo's the fastest guy in the club. I think this guy, if he was in the calculations at the start of the year, he would have to be close to be the fastest guy. So particularly over short distance. Very exciting, and I think he's up for it. I think that he'll be tested heavily by Chad and by Dearden and by Drinkwater especially as well. But I think, having watched him in lower grades, watched him at training, he's not going to back down, put it that way. For a young guy, he's not going to back down. That's my prediction.
just hope the boys get around him if there is an error, and I hope the fans just give the kid a break. If he makes a mistake, it's okay. This guy's 19 years old. He's playing away from home against a pretty handy football side. So just give him a chance. If there's mistakes, he's going to learn from them. But I'm predicting a really good game from him.
I think as far as the internet people go, there was some theories out there about what you could do with this team. You could have Ronaldo there. You could have Kale there. Like there were different things you could genuinely do. But I think this is the best way because you're not moving anyone else from their positions in what is a pretty successful team. And this guy's a specialist fullback. I mean, Ero's played at World Cup level, but he's not a specialist fullback. Ronnie's barely played there. I don't think Hirotti's even fit to play this week.
I think
you want
he's
to throw
injured
him
anyway.
in. Yeah. So it's not only a next cab off the rank, but he's kind of in everything but experience more qualified in that position.
It also makes the most sense, I think. I really don't like in football, in sport in general, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Putting someone else to fix another position and weakening two places.
Yep.
I think Iro is probably too big now and probably not as mobile as he was when he played fullback a few years ago.
Yeah.
We need to keep him there to keep developing him as a centre. I know you've got Siffer there that could easily cover it, but I just think you put one piece out, one piece in, give the kid a chance. It's one game, and we want to see what he's got. If he's good enough, you're old enough. So why not? And I'm kind of surprised that when we found out about Will nearly 2 weeks ago, this was probably the third option I thought Fitzy would go with. I really didn't think he would pick him. Not because he didn't deserve it or couldn't do it. I just didn't think Fitzy would actually do it. So I'm really excited about that too, that Fitzy had the guts to do it.
I think it's form because he's been lights out.
Yeah.
And he's been trending up since we got him, which wasn't that long ago. And he was great for Penrith Jersey Flag or SG Ball. I think it was one of the two. Flag, I think. It's rewarding someone for that. And I think there is a percentage of like, well, look who's over this side of the equation. Let's go with this side. It's a bit stronger all round. So really the only thing going against him is inexperience at the top level, but he's been playing against big boys in Cup. Like the boys in Cup they're not as physically fit, but in a lot of cases they're bigger. They're bigger guys. So he knows what it's like to mix it up with the big crew. So it's going to be exciting. It's always exciting.
I think it's good to give, if they're good enough, to give them a taste. Let them know this is where you can be. Like, you're good enough to be here. Now, can you come back here again in a year? Or if the next time there's an injury or if there's out of form, are you ready to take that step permanently? Like, you want these guys getting a taste and then being hungry as ever for the next off season.
I mean, we saw Cade Dykes get the same opportunity a couple of years ago. And unfortunately, he's just been injured ever since. He would be the first one in otherwise.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, for the moment only, and I stress that, for the moment only, Ison's jumped him in the pecking order. Obviously through necessity and through injury, but it's now his jumper. And if he plays lights out, then perhaps in a year's time, he's pushing Will. Who knows? I mean, I'm pretty happy with Will, but maybe he's the next guy in line. Maybe they'll groom him to, in 2 years' time or 2.5 years' time, it'll be time to tap Will on the shoulder and go, now's your chance. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It's a long way before that happens, obviously.
He hasn't even played a game yet, but I know exactly what you're saying.
But it could be his chance. It could be his chance. And we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll just play a really safe game and there won't be 30-meter electric breaks and he'll just catch the ball and they'll win by 2 and that'll be great. That'll be enough.
I think if he could have anything right now, he'd take the win.
Absolutely.
If you'd offered him, you win, regardless of your result, he'd say yes.
He seems very switched on as well as far as carrying himself off the field. Like 1,000 reports about what a great young guy he is. But I think he's one of these players that's really been waiting for this time his whole life, and he knows how to act. He's seen people fall by the wayside real quick. He knows this isn't the step to 400 games for the Sharks. It's just a game. He could be forgotten about and left behind. Who knows? He's seen guys misbehave off the field. Like I think he's had that kind of education and he's smart enough to kind of go, this is how I'm going to play the game on and off the field. So hopefully he sticks to that. But yeah, great opportunity for him. Well done to the coach for picking him. No matter what happens, I think it's the right move.
So do I.
And I'm not going to be one of those people that changes my tune and go, well, you should have... Nah, this was the right thing. And what will be, will be. And hopefully it's a win. We think that we'll win a close one. NRLW starts on Saturday for us, Josh. Thursday, in general, it starts, which is exciting. Saturday, 11 o'clock, Shark Park, we play the Cowboys. We've got a very strong team named, and we've got a strong squad overall as well. So I actually have much bigger expectation this year than I did last year. Last year, I thought, oh, we're a Smoky to do something. This year, I think that if they're all in good health, they could really do something special.
I also think it's more exciting that the comp has expanded now, that it's not, 4 or 5 teams competing for a comp. You've got 1 in 5 chance. Like this is now, we're starting to get to that legitimate, 10 plus teams, more coming next year, that it's going to mean more. It's not as, you play a couple of games, play final, play grand final. Like now this is a thing. And I'm super excited. The team, when I looked at the announcement, like it's a really strong side. Like I'm just really annoyed that it's on at the worst time. It's 11 o'clock on a Saturday. I know the game will get there and we'll figure that out as it goes. But right now, come on.
It's to do with general scheduling of NRL, NRLW, New South Wales Cup, TV, the whole thing. I understand we have to play at some wacky times to get them, get NRLW into TV. Of course. TVs across the country. I get that. Get down to Shark Park. If you're a season ticket holder, you can use your pass to get in.
Sure.
It should be great. Hopefully the weather's good. And
are you going to get a chance to go down? I'm gutted. I've got my dad's birthday. Otherwise, I would love to have been there.
I am very much trying to work my day around that being the second highlight. The first highlight will be hanging out with you and Gary at the Royal Motor Yacht Club. But yes, I am very much planning on being there. 11 o'clock kickoff. I'm guessing gates will be 10:30 or something. But check your local guides for that. But it's just awesome to have it back. There's non-stop footy, wall-to-wall footy.
2 Sharks in one day, for the next couple of, for the next 2 months or so.
You get to support 2 Sharks teams, have all their content, and people like us talking about them twice as much. And we'll definitely get to some interviews and that kind of stuff with the women's team. So it's going to be great. My favorite thing, Josh, in the world, and I don't mean this to sound disrespectful to anyone at all, particularly the women, is when it's always a guy that says, it's actually pretty good, hey? Like they hit pretty hard. And it's usually like an older analyst, probably like a guy on TV or something, or a former, not even a former player, like an old journo type person, without naming names. It's gotten pretty good, Josh. Like the hits are good and the skills are a lot better. It's like, shut up, man.
It's condescending. And I've probably been guilty of that in past, but
that's fine.
It's like seasons ago when it first came through, but now it's just like
you're not on TV reporting about it.
No, but it just goes without saying, the product is good.
It's great.
And it's great to watch.
It's great, and I love the fact that it's different to NRL.
It's such a different play style. It's so much more open.
Yeah,
the structure's kind of it's there,
and in its own way, it's tougher. I think, play by play, because they're not doing the million block plays. They're not doing all the shadowing and everything. They're just hitting it up and tackling and passing and creating opportunities. It's a little old school, and I'm a little old school. I like it.
No, it's great. It's watching it live too. Really, if you can get down and watch a game, not just the Sharks, any NRLW game, please go and watch it, because it's such a interesting dynamic and difference between the men's game. It would be so boring if it was both the same.
Yes, it's
such a different play style.
Yes, NRL can be boring as it is when they're just doing the same thing that every team does. Come on. I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but I'm really over that kind of block play thing every time you run the ball.
And those teams, not to get too sidetracked, but those teams now are the ones that are struggling.
Yeah.
The teams that play like that, that 24-team block play style, that's the best teams don't do that anymore.
It was one of the first things I noticed about Fitzy when he came along. We do it, but he's, he brought in the sweep. Obviously we focused on that for a while, but
the slingshot,
but he wasn't relying on that play every time, and he did let them play eyes up footy, and they still do, obviously. So anyway, NRLW, get behind it if you can. It's a brilliant competition. Josh, let's have a little quick break. Come back and read some mail, and we'll talk about the upcoming game against the Cowboys. This is SharkCast Pod. Dyson Logistics have been on board with SharkCast since day one. And because of that and their excellent service, we are proud to be associated with them. Dyson Logistics provides tailored logistical solutions to meet your individual client needs. and is set apart by its personalised service. Dyson is a strong worldwide agent network, enabling highly competitive rates, and I should also point out their head honcho is a lifelong season ticket holder of the mighty Cronulla Sharks. Find them online, www.dysonlogistics.com, or call them on 02 8339 1844. Dyson Logistics, service delivered. The Royal Motor Yacht Club Port Hacking is a hidden gem of the Shire, situated on the banks of the beautiful Port Hacking. It's a great place to catch up with friends, celebrate your birthday or any special occasion, and they always show the NRL live on the big screens. The RMYC Port Hacking, proud sponsors of this podcast and big supporters of the Cronulla Sharks. Check out their website, rmycph.com.au. They've got a Facebook page, or you could go old school and call them on 02 9523 9300.
50 years and Cronulla has their first title.
Okay, here with Braden Hamlin Uele. First of all, if I may say so, congratulations on your big news.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're excited for November to welcome a third member of our family. So, yeah, thank you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, really excited, really keen. Seeing all the boys' kids after the game, it sort of made you feel a bit like, oh, I want one now. So, me and the partner have been trying, and yeah, here we are.
Also, congrats on making your comeback of sorts to NRL. You're still playing a bit of cup to get the match fitness. Was that the plan all along, recovering from your injury?
Probably not. I think, it was a bit naive of me to think that too, like having one reserve grade game against Souths and then coming in to play my 100th game against the Cowboys and then expecting me to just be fine with NRL speed and contact and physicality after one game, after being out for 7 months and missing the whole preseason. Yeah, I think it was naive to think that. So, yeah, going back to play some Jets and getting some match fitness and just some footy, and I'm loving it, eh?
Is it enjoyable to play at that level?
Oh, if you go back with the right mindset, it is.
Yeah.
It's just footy. Like, if you love playing footy, you love playing footy no matter what level. And the Jets are a great team with great boys, and they're flying at the moment. Unfortunately, we had a loss on the weekend to Nui, but yeah, the boys have been flying as of late, and there's great talent in there, and yeah, I don't see it as a negative ever to go back to better my craft. So,
can you feel the match fitness getting better?
100%. I think the Tigers was a good indication that my confidence in myself and my abilities was getting there. So, and to get off the nudie was a good tip of the cap. So, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there slowly, but yeah, we're definitely getting there.
It was a great hit out for you, great hit out for the team. Tell us about the try celebration, because there was mixed reports. Both of us being wrestling guys. Andrew Johns, the greatest, said you were doing a Randy Savage impersonation.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Randy Savage do that.
Never.
No, mine was Max Crosby from the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, yeah, of course.
He gets a sack, or he makes a good tackle, and he smacks the baseball, or he knocks the front door down. So I decided to do that, and hopefully we're trying to get some attention from him, but no, nothing yet. So yeah, we go there next year. So hopefully we'll rub shoulders with him. So.
Look, we are going there. I can't wait for that. How do you feel about going to Vegas?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Who wouldn't be? But yeah, our focus is the Cowboys this week, so we'll definitely be worried about Vegas when it comes.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the Cowboys briefly before I let you go. Good forward pack, good team all round. Bit of youth in there on the weekend. They mixed around their line-up a little bit. Val Holmes in the wing. They're tinkering with things. Are we more focused on us than them?
Yeah, that's always it. We're always focused about how we want to play footy, and we'll do all our game planning on them, and we'll see what they run and how they like to defend. But if we don't go out there with the mentality of playing Sharks footy, all that will go out the window, and we'll be chasing our tails. So yeah, we'll go up there with the intent and the mindset to play Sharks footy, and whatever comes of that will come of that, and we'll deal with it when it happens.
All right, two last questions. We've spoken to you about music before. I don't think I've ever asked you this. If I have, I apologise. We had a question in from a listener. Are there any heavy metal heads in the team? People keep mentioning you as a maybe, because I know you like hip-hop and country, different sort of stuff. Do you have anything in you that likes heavy metal?
Yeah, I dabble in it. There's a couple. With me and my music, I just enjoy and appreciate how hard it is to play that type of music, like to play the drums that heavy metalists do and the guitar riffs and all that stuff like that. I appreciate that, so I like it.
Yeah.
So
any names?
Yeah, Disturbed. Down with a Sickness. That gets me going.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit Rollin'. That's a
Yeah.
good song. I
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Anything older, like a Metallica, for example?
Into the Sandman. That does it. That
counts?
gets a few plays.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, I have to think about that.
Any other players that like it? Because we're struggling to find other players.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone else likes their techno and hip hop and
Country,
that country.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too sure. You think Macca would like a bit of heavy metal,
Well-
Cameron McInnes, but the way he
That's right.
the way he looks. But
The other one I was going to say was maybe Jaden Beryl.
Bez is a real surfer, laid
is
back,
he?
chill.
Is he?
Yeah, like indie.
Yeah, gotcha.
He like the sort of like sticky fingers
Yep.
type vibe, I reckon. But yeah, there's a few boys that like a bit of heavy metal here and there. But yeah, I think
You might be the guy, though.
I might be. I'm a bit of a lucky dip, potluck sort of everything.
One last question I promised Gary that we would ask. Have you seen the new menu at Mr. Paisley's?
I have seen it,
Approve?
and there's definitely some goodies on there. So the shop's looking nice, eh?
Yeah.
It's looking really nice. Me and the missus go up there most mornings to get a coffee before we both go our separate ways for work. So yeah, it's always nice to get up there bright and early and take the dog up there for a nice coffee.
All right, thanks for your time and rip in this week.
Cheers, thanks, man.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers, thank you.
Appreciate you. Dan Atkinson, you are a regular first grade now. You're one of our halves leading into the finals. How are you feeling? What's going on inside your head? What's going on?
No, it's exciting. It's I said earlier, you don't wish an injury upon any football player, and Nico's one of my best mates, and what he's going through is awful. But I think what's helped is him having the confidence in me to do my job, and he's already into the coaching role of helping me grow my game. So I've got a lot to thank for him. And yeah, the finals aren't even on our mind yet. It's just we got a job to do in Townsville, and that's what we got to do.
I saw him out there. He was in coaching mode, watching the whole team over. Can you tell me a bit more about how he's been helping you lately?
Just the little stuff. He watches video, tips me up during the week. He obviously watches training, see the stuff I can improve on, keep growing. He's big on playing to my strengths. It's just like when we were partners on the field, and he always just kept saying play to my strengths.
Nice. What were your thoughts on the West Tigers game? Obviously, we dominated that, but it must have felt good to sort of get the win and just kick out a few cobwebs.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good, strong, physical game. It was better than playing wing, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good physical game. It was good to get the connection with Tricky started.
Yeah, both went really well. I thought collectively you played well, but also individually, like both halves, it couldn't really split you. Let me ask you about the wing, though. How was that experience? I know it's not preferred, but obviously you just want to play NRL.
Yeah, exactly, Ripper. Like you said, you just want to play NRL. And yeah, people were asking, how do you feel about the wing? It's like, loving it. NRL's NRL. You'll play wherever. And yeah, I'm thankful Fitzy had the trust in me to do a job on the wing.
Well, I mean, you had a bit of a rep that you could play anywhere, which I believe as well. But now, obviously, you want to focus on the halves. We need you in the halves. How does that rub with you, though? The fact that you're pretty relied upon that if someone goes down somewhere else, we can call an Atco.
Yeah, it's good to have that respect amongst the squad and the players. I think it just goes to show what squad we have here and the trust we have within our squad. And yeah, looking forward to the challenges ahead.
Cowboys, tell me about them. What's going on there?
They're going good. Watched their game the other night. They're a good physical team. They'll be good up at home. And yeah, like I said, looking forward to the challenge up at their home ground.
All right, I'll leave you to it.
Easy, thank you.
Appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
SharkCast is supported by the best and most honest real estate agent in the Sutherland Shire, Jason Hawes from Cripps & Cripps Real Estate. He's an expert in the Caringbah region and has his eye all across the Shire. Lifelong Sharks fan and supporter of this podcast, if you're looking to buy or sell in the region, the person you need to be talking to is Jason Hawes from Cripps & Cripps Real Estate. Call him on 0410 417 450. That's 0410 417 450. Jason Hawes, Cripps & Cripps Real Estate. Welcome back to SharkCast Pod with Josh Bolling. I'm Sam Shinazzi. This is a bit of a shorter episode just because of the fact that we've given you a bunch over the past week and there's been no game, so we can't rap too hard about the West Tigers game, even though we'd like to. I do have more breaking news, Josh, and it's from our sponsor, Liam, who's at the Royal Motor Yacht Club. And we're going to have an event there this Saturday from about 4, call it 4:30 if you like, but if you get there at 4, we'll be around. And it's in the Mariner Bar, which is at the back. We're going to watch the game at 5:30. Now, kids are welcome with parents, Josh. There is a bar area, though, where there's unfortunately, there's some pokies there. So the kids need to be on the balcony, but the windows open out to create a bench at the balcony. And Liam said that's where he's going to sit with his kids and watch the footy. Okay. So if you have kids, bring them along. We'll work it out. That's the bottom line on that one. Now, some mail, Josh. SharkCast@gmail.com on the DMs. This is from Adam. He says, will the NRL wait until we're just about to play a finals match before they decide to ban Trindle? Have I missed a punishment from them? I mean, that's a great question. I'm guessing that it's all over, Adam. And I'm guessing that they just said that his punishment was the weeks he had off. He's done some rehab. He's continuing to do rehab. He lost his license, got a fine. Maybe they're cool with that. I would struggle to believe they're going to ban him from here on in.
They must have just been satisfied with the Sharks' punishment. I would imagine that's the case. So I'm sure we would have heard something by now.
Yeah, maybe there was just no grand announcement from them or from us. I mean, why would you announce it from our point of view if you didn't have to? So I think you did miss something there, Adam, just something minor, but he's not going to get banned from here on in. You said Craig Bellamy seems to let go of players who look like world beaters until they get moved on. Does Nico have something Bellamy saw and didn't like? Maybe it's that mongrel gene.
I don't think so, because we just had about 2.5 years of him being a top 3 player in the comp. So I disagree. You don't have to have that mongrel in you as a half, I think. I think you let the big boys and your outside backs handle that. Not to say that it's a bad trait, but I don't think you need to have that to be a successful half. And yeah, I just think we've seen how great he is just because of a couple of bad games this year. I think it's a little unfair on Nico, to be honest.
Well, I think when we've seen him with the mongrel, we haven't liked it.
Yeah, he's someone that I think would get flustered by it. We saw it when he got into it with Reid Marnie the other day. It clearly got into his head. Yeah,
I don't think we want mongrel for Nico. A competitive guy, I mean, there's no issue there. Let's give him some more time. And you also finish up with a great reference. You said one of the last emails mentioned we might have something like 600 wins, 600 losses. You know who we are. We're even Stevens. Giddy up. So a bit of a Seinfeld ref from Adam, which I always appreciate. Thank you very much. Hope you're good. Comment on the YouTube. Nick was asking about when members' tickets who can't go, they sell their tickets when they're released. Do you know anything about that, Josh?
No, I don't.
So I kind of assumed that they're not all released at once. I would have thought that if someone had a ticket, they put it on the website. On the website, that becomes available again. Mm-hmm. I think that might be how it works, because he's after some South tickets. So I hope you have some luck there, Nick. He says love the pod too, which we appreciate. Also on the YouTube, David has chimed in, I think on the Kieran episode, and he said we're going to finish 4th at best at the end of the finish line, okay, which you'd take, given the circumstances. I should point out, I think Kieran Fraser is coming down on Saturday. Kieran stars in the Monday morning show. Unless he's heard this and me ignore him for an hour, and then he's going to get the irrits and not come down. So hopefully Kieran will be there for those who like that show, and a lot of you do. Alan's been in touch. He said, greetings from the Philippines. I just read Toby's statement on Coach Fitzgibbon not taking names into consideration when selecting his team. He says, we'll see how this holds up when Nico becomes available, if Trindle and Atkinson have formed a credible combination. Regarding Nico's form, it deteriorated in 23-24 since his great first season. Seems to lost some interest in the way that he plays, is how I'm going to put it nicely, Alan. But you say we'll see if Fitzy sticks to his guns. Great to see Liam get his chance in the NRL. I'm sure he won't let anyone down. Awaiting your opinion on this, Alan from the Philippines. Alan, you're back into the coach, I see, which is fine. I think, Josh, if Nico is healthy and ready to go, like proper ready to go, it won't matter if we won 7 in a row or none. He's going to throw Nico in to start the game.
He will be playing number 7 whenever he's fit, and whenever he's ready, he will be the first picked at number 7.
And that's a lot of pressure on Nico, because he'll be walking into a finals series that we haven't won under him or Craig Fitzgibbon. Sorry, we haven't won the series. We haven't won a game. So that subject will be back nice and loud. But You can't have your best player in the game, your most expensive player in the game, not picked.
Could this be a blessing in disguise? I know that's been mentioned before, but if he just comes in, everyone's giving him no chance. He's not fit. He's this and that, and he just comes in and just dominates a final series.
It'd be amazing.
All these points to prove. So, also, I think the reflection on some of Nico's previous games and in previous seasons is, I think, severely unfair. He had something like 28 or 30 try assists last year and kicked a bajillion goals, and I think that hindsight is 20/20, and I think he, at that time, hindsight, no pun intended. I think people are really harsh on him, and I don't know why. He's been incredible for 2.5 years and had maybe six bad games.
I think it's just the high profile of his life. His life is high profile, and
Yeah.
some of that he brings on, some he doesn't. So the one thing I will say is, as far as I'm aware, publicly, we never hear him complain about that aspect of it all. After the Roosters game, after the Cowboys game, he just owned it. I've got to be better. I should have got that. I'll be better. After the Dogs game, I told you, he was down at Shark Park the next morning kicking field goals. It's not like he's some sort of showboat who thinks he's bigger and better than everyone else and that kind of thing. So
he made a joke about it, missing the field goal on his podcast the other day. And he was he was jovial about it. So it was good to see he's, it hasn't got him down in the dumps. He's able to laugh about it now, as you should.
Did you hear the one with Kate Dykes and him?
I haven't yet. No, I listened to the one after that.
It was super endearing and nice and cute, and there's two playmakers who love each other just talking about footy. It wasn't the most riveting conversation I've ever heard, but it was very enjoyable just from I like these guys, I'm going to have a listen. They like each other, they had a laugh. But like I said, that sort of stuff does bring on criticism for whatever reason if you're missing field goals, if you're doing whatever else. So our good friend Paul has written to us. He said, where does the club stand on Iro? I've heard nothing, and personally I believe he's building into a very solid centre for us. Would love to see him get locked down. Also, you talk about Ison, but what do you think about that with Iro? I mean, we haven't heard anything concrete, to be completely honest. I know that they like him, and I'm assuming something is happening because he's not signing with other clubs. I mean, are you keeping him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not the biggest Iro guy of all time. I do like him, and I think there's a lot of potential there. I think maybe hopefully that Tigers game has got him out of that funk. I think he was in for the last month. There was kind of no tries happening for him or around him. Ronaldo was getting starved. The meters and the work was good, but I need more than just work out of my outside backs. I need tries. I need try contributions.
Interesting he got that in the Tigers game with a halves pairing he may not have played with too much.
And I think there is something to that.
Mind you, look at who they were playing.
Of course,
yeah.
I do think there is something to the play style of those two halves specifically that maybe that edge is going to see some more ball. Maybe, I don't know if Trindle's more naturally a right or left-sided player, and being back on the right was maybe better for him because Sione got a bunch of tries, Ronaldo got a bunch of tries, Iro did. They hadn't been getting much ball or early ball. Look, I think gun to my head, I'd keep him because there's not also that much out in the market. There's been some stuff about Parramatta being interested in him, and a couple other sides, and there is maybe something that he hasn't signed anything for a while, but who knows? I
would definitely keep him, and the thing I keep telling people is I wouldn't be throwing the bank at him, but I would be offering him a reasonably good, attractive contract because I think he's done great this year. And there's definitely upside to him. And it's just, more about how you want him to play. Maybe you need to coach him to play a slightly different style or whatever it is you want from him. Maybe they like that. I don't know. I don't know. But I would definitely look to keep him. I think he's good. I just think that his best years are ahead of him, which is a positive too. But that's why I'm not going nuts with contracts.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, and I'm not suggesting for a second it was, but if that was coming back to me as an administrator, I'd be like, well, we might look elsewhere or see what else we can do. But I'm not hearing that. So
no, I mean, if we announced tomorrow that he had re-signed, I'd be stoked.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to also cry over spilled milk if he was to go somewhere either.
Who would you play there if he left?
I'd go back to Sifa.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's a whole other podcast. Paul says the talk re Royce Hunt. If we let him walk away, I believe it's a mistake. He's not great every week yet, but he has something different about him, aggression, size, and game-shifting ability. If we can nail down some consistency, he could be the missing piece next to AFB, along with Hamlin Uele, Tall Tom, and Tuku, and hopefully, when he's healthy, Jesse Calhoun. And he says, you see there, I didn't mention Toby, Jack, or Kafusi. Harsh, but I believe Toby hinders us more than not. I also believe Jack, while good, may just be one of them to go with the emergence of Tuku. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of potential in Tuku, but I think Jack Williams is 10 times the player at the moment. I think Jack's a super important piece of the puzzle for this side.
Also not re-signed.
And also has been a little down probably in the last month. I know he's been injured. His start to the year was out of this world. It's been a little bit down, but still really good. Maybe like this little time off will be good for him just to get the body regenerated a little bit, get a bit of a rest. Toby, I agree with. I think Toby's probably the weakest link of this forward pack. Whether or not Tuku starts ahead of him every week at the moment, I don't know if he has that yet. I'd love to give him more of a chance in first grade. I think Kafusi's been pretty solid. Like, he holds down the fort. He's not, we've mentioned it a dozen times that he's not the game breaker, but he just holds down the fort.
Yeah, so out of all those guys, and we'll get to Royce in a sec, out of all those guys, and it just sort of hit me, when we talk about Kafusi, he is the most reliable out of all of them. He's had maybe 2 shocking games out of 30 or 40, yeah. But overall, he brings something really consistent and solid. It's not headline grabbing by any means, but he's kind of there for you when other guys aren't. Toby can be up and down. Jack can be up and down, also can find an injury. No slight on this kid. I love him. I want him to stick around for a long time. But Jesse obviously suffers from injuries as well. Not to say Kafusi can't, but at the moment he's just reliable week in, week in, week in.
He doesn't miss games.
So to me, out of those guys, and also from a Moneyball kind of view, I'm probably re-signing Kafusi if I had to pick one of those guys. On Royce, the more I see each week, the more I want to keep him for the price he wants. Sorry, when I say the price he wants, I'm assuming it comes down to money, whether he stays or not.
The price it would take to keep him.
Yes. People know I'm a huge fan since day one. Know him a bit off the field as well. Great human. Want him to stay. So let's get that one out. Want him to stay. The money that he's now up to because of his performances of late is awesome. It's awesome for him, for his family. It's awesome for us because he's killing it. I just want to see it a little bit more. So I've seen enough now for probably, what is he on? Like a sort of 5, 6, 7 week stint of awesomeness.
About that, yeah.
I want to see 5 more, and then I'm probably going, all right, let's have a look at what you want. I am also told by different people, to be clear, not him, but different people, the money he's after isn't necessarily as crazy as what you might think for like probably the best prop in form of contract, because he's got 3 or 4 clubs chasing him. So I think it is workable if they can both come to an arrangement. I know he wants to stay from a location point of view, especially from a lad point of view, like he's part of the family. So I wouldn't rule out him leaving, but to be perfectly honest, I can also see him getting an offer from someone else and going, I can't turn that down. Yeah. Which is fair enough. So I'm a little bit just apprehensive with Royce. I just need at least a few more weeks of him dominating. But he's in a career best form, but also just incredible.
Does his age put you off at all a little bit?
No, it's not the age.
No?
It's the motor.
Okay.
I would like to, if I'm going to be giving him a healthy contract, et cetera, and if he's going to be starting with Fanua Blake, and it's been getting better, like don't get me wrong, it's been getting better, the motor, but I kind of want to see him play for 20, 25 minutes at least, which he can do. But when I say that, keep in mind Fanua Blake's been playing for 40 minutes. In
the first stint, you mean?
Yeah.
So you have Royce starting next year with him.
I'm saying if.
Okay.
So if he keeps climbing that ladder of awesomeness, I don't know how you hold him back. Unless you want him to be the guy off the bench that goes nuts, which I'm perfectly fine with. But then there is that kind of reputation that if you're a bench player, you may not get the same amount of money, I think.
Even though a lot of bench players actually end up playing more minutes.
I know.
Than starters.
I'm just saying how it kind of
I get
the
you.
general blanket rule. I'm with Paul. I think we should keep him. That's my answer. I think we should keep him.
100%.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Thanks for listening, Paul. Always appreciate you. Now, on Monday, on the Kieran Coffee catch-up episode, Josh, I said something very foolish. And of course, it was RCB in Canberra who pulled me up on it. We were talking about 2003, which we often do. I said to Kieran, let's do a summer episode. And I said, let's bring in Michael from Canberra, RCB. And then RCB messaged me a couple of hours after the show was out. And he said, we've already done one. I was like, okay, that sounds right. I've got a bad memory. Let's do another one. And then a different Michael the statistician, was in touch. And this one blew my mind. He said, if you have a 2003 episode, I have opinions. I am pro, and I'm glad you're sitting down, I am pro Chris Anderson in terms of what he was trying to do. Yes, it failed, but there were other factors in my opinion. I'd love to be involved even if I get hammered. And my reply was, I have the hammer ready, you outrageous bugger. So it sounds like we need to have at least a 4-person conversation, if not more, in the off-season about 2003. And it'll be a second series because we've already done one with RCB, which we covered quite extensively. But we'll just relook at it because, you open up crime cases. This is obviously a
cold
crime
case.
Mate, it's something. Just checking out a few replies here. Peter replied to a few things on socials saying Sharks for life. Our friend Fraser was in touch. And he's excited about the game this week, which is awesome. And I'm just making sure there's nothing else in here. I want to give a shout out to Chris. So Chris is going to donate some caps, some shark hats to Gary, who's going to Fiji. Different Gary to our Gary, different Gary, to donate hats to Fijian people. So he takes over predominantly Sharks hats. So Chris has volunteered to donate some stuff. So if you have any hats you don't want anymore, and if they're in okay condition or better, drop me a line. I'll get you in touch with Gary. Stephen said, I was thinking about signings and retention this year, hoping we can keep everyone we want to. After listening to an interview with Ronnie on James Graham's podcast, he'd not filled with confidence that he's going to resign. It would not surprise me to see him sign with a Brisbane team. If you haven't heard the episode, go back and tell me what you think. I have heard the episode. Have you heard the episode, Josh?
I have not, no.
Very animated conversation with Ronaldo. It's definitely worth listening to. He does mention a couple of times that he's off contract soon and that he loves the Sharks, but also he's got commitments and he was sort of doing that kind of, I'm going to look after myself.
Political talk, yeah.
Yeah. What it said to me was, I want to stay at the Sharks, but they're going to have to pay. And it's just a question of how much do you pay, dare I say, a winger. Now, we know he's more than a winger. He's an awesome person. He does so much off the field for us. And on the field, he does a lot for us too. He does a lot more than just an old school winger. But maybe that's why you say to Iro, we can only give you this much because this guy's a so there's different ways of looking at it. Do you have any worry that he'll leave us?
I always have had a little worry because when he was first coming through, when he first started establishing himself as a first grader, these talks were around as well. When Wayne Bennett was trying to get him, I think, to Brisbane or to the Dolphins, when that was coming around. So I've always kind of had in the back of my mind, he probably wouldn't be a Shark forever. So I am prepared that if that happens, I would hate for him to leave. This is why you don't rush to kick a Sione Katoa out to bring in Sam Stonestreet, because you never know when these avenues might open up themselves. So I don't want him to leave. I want him to be a Shark for life. But you've just got to be careful with your cap and with your player management, not to, anger people and kick people out when you think someone's better than the other, and then you could have had them the whole time. So I hope that he signs a long-term deal and we can, keep the Ronnie being our grub.
Matthew was in touch. Matthew is from North Queensland, I think, or he's up there at least, and he was asking about a chance to meet the players, and there is a members-only signing happening, so you might want to check that out. I think, Josh, that might be the mail done for now, and if we missed anyone, we will get back to it, that's for sure. But we have a big game on Saturday night, And if you haven't heard, I don't know how you haven't heard because I've mentioned it twice already, we're going to be down at the Royal Motor Yacht Club out the back in the Mariner Bar. What am I trying to say?
The Dean Mariner Bar.
Dean Mariner Bar. If I said that wrong before and I don't edit it out, please don't think I'm more foolish than what I am. I'm a fool.
You're not a fool, Sam.
I mean, and this is a really stupid thing to say. Speaking is not my strong point as a host of a podcast, so sometimes I get words wrong. But we're going to be there. That's the point, and it's going to be fun and free, and the game will be on a bunch of screens for us to watch. And if you have any questions, drop me a line, and I'll try and answer them for you. But we'll be there from about 4:30. Kickoffs at 5:30. There will be no bells and whistles. There'll be no birthday cakes. There'll be no celebrations. There'll be no fuss. There'll be no anything, Josh. It's just going to be people of all ages, demographics, walks of life watching footy.
There will be celebrations, though, for a win.
Yes, there will be.
There will be celebrations for a win.
So the first one we did was at the Leagues Club, and we played the Warriors, and we beat them. I think we beat them, and it was fun. And then we played the Warriors again when I met you in the same bar we're going to be in, and that was really fun.
We won that game?
Last minute.
That's right.
I don't know if it was Ronaldo or not, but there was a massive forward pass and we won off a forward pass.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But the one thing I remember is that Val had the chance to, I think, win it with a goal or something. He did something really stupid and the entire room looked at me and were like I had lost the game for the Sharks. But thankfully, there was a massive forward pass and one of the wingers, I don't know if it was Ronaldo or not.
I think it was Ronaldo.
Was it?
That's ringing a bell.
Yeah, and
I
the place went off. And it went to video ref. And we've got video. If you go on our Facebook at the very least, I'm not sure where else, there's video. And we're all just sort of on an edge while we're looking at it. We're like, oh. And then when it comes up, everyone says, yeah. It's like it's the greatest thing. So if we win, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the last one we had, which would have been maybe 2019 or so, I think, no, maybe later, we had in the general area at the Motor Yacht Club. I remember Ash brought his yellow jersey on a mannequin. It was all happening. Adam Flanagan's band played. It was a real scene. We lost. I'm sure we lost that night. And so it was not the most fun party. But you know what? As I said, we're going to win, we're going to lose, potentially draw. We're going to be there. It's going to be fun either way. You know?
No matter what.
And if we lose, we can lose together.
Yeah.
Point is, 5:30 kickoff for the Sharks up at the Cowboys. We got a really good record there. We've never lost at that stadium.
The new one, the new and improved, yeah.
And in general, I think it's 5 in a row in Townsville. So really good record. Our current best record against any team is against this mob. I do think it's going to be tough. I think the Cowboys, when they get it right, they're pretty good. They're like
like us a little bit.
They're probably like an 8 out of 10 team. I think we're more consistent overall. They have strengths. Now, we know Drinkwater's hot and cold, but when he's hot, he's really hot.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen that. Their wingers are Kyle Felt and Valentine Holmes. Now, that says to me maybe there's something we can do in the centres to kind of young, good centres, but maybe we can target the centres a little bit. Dearden and Chad, pros and cons there, but they're going to kick our friend Ison out of the park, and he's going to answer that with amazing catches and runs, but they're going to be kicking all over the shop. I think they'll be super kick heavy in this game, Josh. Decent forward pack, right? I mean, Tamalolo on the better end of his career, he's on the other side of, you know, he's only got a few more years left in him, you'd think, but still, it's Tamalolo. Like, you don't doubt that guy. I mean, he tore us apart
He has, but yeah, many times
in the past. So they've got rep players still in Cotter and, I mean,
Robson.
Nanai. You got to look out for that. Who's marking Nanai? Do we know it'd be our left edge, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so it would be Teague.
Teague's got to catch. He's got to start catching some balls because Chad's going to do that little dip thing where it goes zip, a little between a chip and a grenade, as we call it in the business, and it's going to be for Nanai every time.
And he'll score it if he gets there. He's a freak.
Yeah. So there's lots of targets there for them, and they're going to be, I think, difficult to beat. But I also think it's a winnable game. Like, if we just play good footy, complete your sets, get through it, I think our forwards can get on top of them. And I think the rest of it just sort of happens. Like, don't give away penalties, play smart. We've seen the halves, what they can do together. Yeah, don't go too crazy with the ball, especially in your own half. Don't go too crazy. And I think that's the keys to winning. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think my major concerns are the second rowers for the Cowboys. That Helam Lukey scored a double, I think, last week against the Dogs. He's really good. And obviously Ruben Cotter, Robson, all guns in that middle pack. So that we need to be really strong there. We cannot be holding down and giving away 6 agains. Because if you give the likes of Scott Drinkwater and Dearden chances in your 20, they will eventually convert them. Dearden's in terrific form. He was the best player for the Cowboys again, probably on the weekend, and for Queensland in the Origin. Scott Drinkwater loves a cutout ball. He loves to cut it, throw 20, 30-metre cutout balls to the chest on his winger.
Yeah, and so the thing there is one of our centres in particular likes going for the intercept, whether it's on or not. And I would imagine they're doing video on that right now as we speak, because that can go one or two ways.
Yeah. And we have a winger who loves to come in off his wing on the other side. So
we do.
There is a lot of potential for things to go wrong there if we aren't smart and if we don't count our numbers well, and we don't, the contact as well has to be important, because they're probably they are a bigger side than us. McLean, Taumalolo, Robson, Lukey, all these guys, they're big boys.
Bigger and slower though.
True. We are more agile, and I think that's where our advantage comes in.
Like I read some of McLean and Tamalolo's stats from last week. They're no good.
They're not in good nick. It's like they're getting carried by their halves and their second rowers, I feel, at the moment. Yeah. Cotter, though, is a weapon, and he'll play 60 minutes at the same standard for the whole time.
Yeah.
I think, though, like with all that being said, our bench, if we can be in the game, and like we did with the Tigers, if we can be in the game or be leading after that first 20 minutes, and we get our bench guys to come on, we'll steamroll them.
Yeah, they're horrible chasers.
Yeah.
Like if they chased us down, I'd be really surprised. So if we can get out to some sort of lead, happy days, or stay with them, as you say, I think we'll be fine. We don't mind an away trip. We've proven that all year, and I think this will be no different. It's honestly about us. It's not about them. It's about holding the ball and just playing responsible footy. And it doesn't mean tucking it under your arm, but just know when to hold them, when to throw them.
Pull the trigger.
Seriously, absolutely. And I think they'll be fine. I really do. And I think it'll be an important win. And, go on to South next week, which who knows who they're going to name, but South is never easy. It just sets us up nicely for the rest of the year. And the players are only talking one game at a time, so there's no reason why we shouldn't as well. But it's a big game, I think, on the calendar. I think if we can win, it'll set us up nicely. If we lose, there's just a few question marks coming in. It's not end of world stuff if we lose, and
there's pressure next week against these two sides are kind of coming good. They're starting to put it together a little bit. So these are two good tests.
I do think Cowboys are more dangerous than South. If that's an obvious statement or not, I'm not sure, but I think South is very. They had a sniff. They lost the game. Therefore,
the loss kind of kills them a bit.
And then they defeated the Tigers like we did as well.
Yeah.
So big deal. But I think this is the one to win, and looking forward to it. 5:30 Saturday. Jump on our socials for any more info about our watch along. But we're going to do it because we're putting it out into the world now, so we have to turn up. Josh, it's one of my grave fears in life. I've said this, now I've got to go do it. I've got to be there. Oh my god. Going to be fun though. Yeah, super chill. So come along. It's going to be super chill, and we'll watch the footy together. It'll be good fun. And if you don't, it's perfectly fine as well. Some of you are going to the game. Some of you have other plans. Some of you can't stand us. It's all good. There's no requirement on you being there. And I'm just looking forward to hanging out with Gary, with Kieran, possibly with Josh. I don't want to say who else because I don't want to put them in the pressure zone, especially if they're not answering my texts. But two other guys who are regularly on the show are chances. So we'll see what happens. No TK, no Clinton, no Ricky O. Anyway, Josh, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Good luck in your final tonight. I know you'll do great.
Thank you.
If I can give you some advice, it'd be hold the ball, know when to throw them, when to hold them. Whatever I just said about Cronulla, that'd be it. Have fun, and we will hopefully see you Saturday. Thanks everyone else for your time. Appreciate everyone listening to the shows as you do. SharkCast Pod. We'll see you another time. Up, Cronulla. Let's go.
Sharkies! Sharkies! And to all you people back in the Shire, turn your porch lights off because we're coming home with a trophy.